one of my aspirations to be able to work on a boat, work anywhere that I want via laptop. That's pretty, it's a lot of freedom.
Yeah, our team, here, I'll show you this really quick. This, our team has a, let's see, Chris. So they will, hi, darling, how are you? Good, thank you. They will take pictures of their office. So he's head of our content writing division. She's head of our social media division. So they will, they take pictures of where they work, and they'll say, "This is my office today," and it's random. They call them digital nomads. Digital nomads. Yep. They work from everywhere in the world. This was their office last week. Thank you. I need power. Yep. They work from anywhere. That's beautiful, huh? Yep. They were in Bali for about 6 months, and then they went to Greece, and they were there for about 6 months, and now they're back in Bali. So the funny part is how we work. We're so mobile. Mike and I were in a car in the middle of the Sonoma Valley, driving through vineyards, and we're on this meeting with them. They're sitting in the middle of Bali. We have people from everywhere, so everyone will snap a photo and say, "My office today." Mm-hmm. They work 24/7. It just is from anywhere. So yeah, it's different.
Yeah, well, it's not easy. SEO is not easy.
It's definitely different. They love it though. Happy people make for a really good team.
Loyalty, right?
Yes, very good team. All right, you guys. Got held a little late today, huh?
Yeah, my product guy's been a little long.
Yeah. All right. You tell me when you're ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
What you got? You snagging food over there?
Yeah.
What's you stuff in your pockets for? You guys got to watch him. See? So we come do these events all the time, and they'll come out and they'll put like a bowl of candy on there about 3/4 of the way through the day. And he's gotten to where he knows how fast they pick up that candy before when it leaves. He's got it down. I think some of the TSMs knows that he's going to snag some for him if they miss it.
I say let's go. Let's go.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Ready to rock and roll?
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right, you guys. Fantastic. 2, 1. Very, very good. Well, thanks you guys for attending. I appreciate it. I'm Jennifer Bagley, CEO of CO Web Group. I'm Michael Hicklin in the back, COO, Head of Operations, 25-year military, in the back of the room. So I appreciate you joining us today. We're really here to talk a little bit about the digital space and how to leverage technology to grow your business. Fair enough? Fantastic. So a little bit about our team. You kind of heard me talking. We have 110 full-time people. They're stretched around the world, everywhere from Seattle, Washington to Texas to Chicago, New York, Florida, all over in the U.S. And then we've got groups of people that are in different areas of the world at different times. And these guys are digital experts, all with different expertise, everything from web search, social, mobile, content writers, designers, developers, they're all over the board. So we run 6 to 8 o'clock, 24 hours a day, 3 different shifts a day. So get a nap and then wake up and do it again. Guys, we've been focused on the HVAC business or the HVAC industry for 10 years. So today is our 10-year anniversary, which is cool. My mama told me this morning. I have to, if I don't get it tattooed on my body, then I probably won't remember the date. So we have, this presentation is really geared towards helping you guys create a competitive advantage, understanding the framework as well as the engine on how to grow your business, how to leverage technology, and getting through some of those hurdles that may have caused some frustration as far as digital marketing has gone to date. First one being the framework, that's your website, and second one being the engine. So we're going to cover some key points. Now, we have 45 minutes. I can technically, I'm sure Scott will tell you, probably talk without stopping for 8 days straight and not cover everything that we need to cover. So we're going to go through some major highlights. Is it everything? Absolutely not, but there's plenty of opportunities to continue to get educated through the university. I do webinars, have been for the last 3 years. For Amana, have any of you attended the online webinars? You need to do that. There's a whole series of them you guys can access through the Amana Dealers website, and you can go back in topics. Only thing I warn you about is with digital marketing, if it's old, it's outdated, scrap it. Stay as current. Stay in the, in the 3 months, because whatever I was talking about 3 years ago may or may not be relevant. Make sense? All right. So, down and dirty, forget about the fact that you own a business and just go straight to being mom, dad, homeowner, husband, wife. How do you buy? How do you find products, services, companies, anything? What do you do? Go online. Fantastic. What else? Ask a friend. You get a referral to some company, product, or service. Then what do? Go online. Look them up. You guys have been asking these questions for a decade now, asking consumers how they buy, and it's. I would literally rather trust a group of soccer moms than most advertising agencies, because they tell you how they shop. They tell you exactly what their steps are and in what order. And it's changed over the years. Now I've spoke to thousands of different groups this year, and the way that consumers search, I don't have 10% of the room saying that they make purchases because of newspaper or television or radio or a flyer or a brochure or a billboard. That doesn't exist anymore. But in our business, how many of us have invested in any one of those things to market our companies? We don't respond to them as consumers, but we feel like we need to do something to keep some kind of momentum to market our company. So a lot of times we'll invest in those things that as a consumer we don't pay attention to. So we can kind of stop the bleeding. And as long as you've got a plan for the future, that's essentially what we're looking towards. If you look at the way technology has changed, human progress as it relates to technology, it feels like that side. It feels like we're just coasting along. Technologies are advancing. 4 years ago, I was standing on stage talking about Google's requirement for your website becoming mobile responsive, which was a new way of coding websites. So your website shrinks down, maintains aspect ratio, and it works on mobile devices. Google made a recommendation. Then it said, hey, you should really do this. Then it said, we're going to have penalties and it's going to become a requirement. Then it started penalizing those sites that were not responsive. Last year, I was talking about mobile watches. Actually, year before last. Mobile watches and how that's changing. AI devices were the highest selling devices this year on Amazon. What are those two devices up there? Trouble. It's not the CIA. We're not getting into that conversation in here. Okay. What? You already know. I know you guys. What are those two devices? Alexa and Google Home. Anybody have one? Yes? Do you love it? I miss it so much when I travel. I love her. She does everything for me. She orders my groceries. She turns on the lights. She locks the house. She turns on the heat. She tucks me into bed. She reads the stories. Have you asked her to tell you jokes? Alexa, tell me a joke. Oh, I miss her when I'm gone. So here's the thing. These little devices, AI devices, are becoming extremely popular. In fact, Mac computers now are fully equipped with AI. I can just simply tap a button and ask my computer, find me a air conditioner repair company in Dallas with the best reviews. That's a different query when you're talking to a device than if you're going online and you're actually typing something in. That's where we're headed. Okay? In order to be able to be present, which that's essentially what you guys got to do. You got to be an option. When somebody is utilizing any of these devices and they're looking for what it is that you do, where you do it, you need to be an option. And that's our ability to compete. So, fundamentals. We got to break it down into brass tacks, nuts and bolts. Your website, priority number one. It's you. It's online. It's working while you do everything else. Your website is a visual representation of you and your company and your business. Are you proud of it? Does it properly represent who you are? Is it professional? Is it educational? Is it easy? Does it serve as a customer service? You can take pictures. You can take video. Get this side. See, I totally don't care about that. I'm a marketer. I'll take a selfie with all of you guys. Okay. So it needs to do everything. It needs to provide customer service. It needs to provide education. It should help your clients apply for financing, sign up for maintenance, schedule service, request an estimate online. It should serve all of those purposes. Your website is also what gives a consumer an initial first impression of feeling when they get there. Are many of your guys' clients women? Yes. Do women care how much you know or how much you care first? See, he's quick. You got a good wife. She's like, how much you care? I don't care how much you know. It's not about that. I want to know you love me. Okay? That's real. They do, but when you go to a website and it's stale and all it is equipment and there's nothing that it doesn't make them feel anything, then it's really hard to get a female to take that next action. There's lots of other types of personality styles other than women, even within that bracket, right? You have more analytical people, you have more dominant people, you have those that are more emotionally charged or driven. All of them need something different, and our websites need to cater to those buyer personas. All right? Next, content. The most number one under budgeted for and most important element of all marketing is content. It's your ability to speak. If I stop talking and I just stood up here and blinked, how well is this going to go?
Right now, pretty well.
That's good. You got a headache already? This is the last session. I already know you guys. Your head, it's okay. You get cocktails tonight. All right? Content is number one. And it's serious. Okay, so I'm going to dive in and I'm going to show you what content, either how it works for you or how it doesn't work for you. Next is reviews. Those little shiny stars, it's like diamonds in the sky. You got to have the stars. When you guys go to Amazon and you look something up, what are you looking for? Bling. Just call them bling. That's what it is. You need the bling. If you don't have it and someone else does, guess who gets a business? And it's just real, right? And finally, marketing. Your website on its own, the best it can do for you is help you convert your referral business and the business you already go hustle for. But it's not going to go get new business for you unless you market it. That's why you need an engine. Make sense? So frustrations, these are the typical. I'm not getting any leads. My website doesn't show up on Google search results. It's not responsive. It's old. It's ugly. I can't make changes. Somebody else owns it. They stole my website or my URL. I don't own it. It's missing major functions. What should it do? It doesn't have it. It's not making me money. I don't feel like it's helping the business. Anybody felt like that? Any one of those? Fair. We'll address them. Everything in marketing is about doing the right thing in the right order at the right time, and this is another big mistake that most businesses make, small businesses especially. If I go invest in search engine optimization and I have a website that can't be optimized because the code is scrap, it's old, I'm burning through money. If I go invest in pay-per-click and I don't drive them to a landing page specifically about that phrase, that product, that service with the promotion related to that, air conditioning repair, air conditioning service, air conditioning tune-up, maybe those are your spring and fall. Air conditioning installation and replacement, heater installation, furnace replacement, furnace tune-up, furnace maintenance, furnace service. Every season has a different client for a different reason. They're going to look for a different phrase. If it doesn't exactly match that, and if that landing page doesn't clearly showcase who you are, what you do, why other people love you, what the benefit is of being able to do business with you and make it easy for them to convert, they're out. You could be on page 1, number 1 at Google for 100, 200, 300 phrases and not get one phone call for one reason. They found you online, they Googled your company, first thing they saw, no reviews, negative reviews, or they can't figure out who you are. You're out. Every step you make in digital marketing, if it's in the wrong order, it's going to produce a poor result. If you don't have all the bells and whistles, all the pieces put together, something else isn't going to work very well. Make sense? All right. So first is purpose. I got to know where you are in order to tell you where you need to go. Got to know where you want to go in order to help get there, right? It's just like giving directions to somebody's house. So if your end goal is you want to be able to sell the company and sail into the sunset on that nice little check, umbrellas in your drinks, that's a different plan. If you want to be able to hand the company down to your kids, that's a different plan. If you just want to grow, that's a different plan. Tell me what the top 3 reasons are that you got into business for yourself. It's all the 3. It's the same 3 every entrepreneur. Number 1. What? Okay, freedom. Next. Money. Next. Starts with a T. At one time. That's it. Do all of you feel like you have all 3? Hell no. Sorry. I'll take it. Because that's real. I get that. Can we get there? Absolutely, but we have to make other decisions. You guys, unfortunately, have a massive target on your back. You get called from every scam under the sunset. How many of you have Google call you? 5 times a day. And Google will never call you, which is the sad part. Those are scams. The email that says your website's a horrible hunk of junk and they reviewed your site and here's all the things that are wrong with it and it's got this script. There's not even a company name at the bottom. And that's a bot. Those are not real. You won't find out until you try to hire them and they ask you to pay via PayPal and get access to your account, or they ask for banking information for wire transfers. Avoid them. Run. You guys also try to get people call and it's like they have the blue magic pill. There's no blue magic pill. No one's saving position number 1 for you online, no matter how much they tell you. It takes work. It takes planning, it takes dedication, it takes resources, it takes a little bit of time, but you can absolutely make it happen. It happens. We do it all day long. Okay, so next, purpose. We have to understand. You guys, I know you go to these workshops and there'll be some twit standing there teaching you how to tweet and saying, this is what you need to do for your business. And that might be true, but not yet. All right? There's a ton of things people are going to make recommendations on, but they don't have the full logic to be able to put things in order. You know, maybe it's a salesperson. They don't have experience running or buying or selling or building a business, so they don't know what all those things are, and that's fine. They learn a product, but there's a lot of things you should do, but it might not be time. Not yet. So next, design and first impressions matter. You have a matter of seconds. Development. These are 2 different people. How long do you think the development of a website lasts today? The coding behind a site. Any ideas? It's like a couple months. That's it. In our world, in the digital world, we don't have a website projects anymore. We have growth-driven designs, which means you have a line item in your budget for content, you have a line item in your budget for development, and you have a website that never stops changing. It always is being revamped and recoded and restructured for whatever newest technologies that come out, whatever new devices, search engine requirements, and so forth. For you guys, let's just get to the 2 years. It doesn't go past 2 years. Okay, at the 1.5-year mark, the website's going to start operating slower. It's going to start not producing as greater results, and it's going to not be as secure. And that's because the code gets old. Hackers know how to hack it, and the site's not going to perform as well. So getting on a refresh plan where you have a website built, get it to market. Production before perfection. Don't stick with perfection. It'll kill you. You need to get the site done. It needs to be well done. It needs to get to market. You need to measure the data, the results, and tweak it as you go. But don't get stuck in a 7-month web project. Make it happen. And it's hard. You got to fight yourself. Okay. Next, content. Critical optimization and conversions. Ultimately, that's the goal. Anybody hired Bob to build their website? Just the guy, him, or even worse, to build it and do your marketing? These people, or whoever you hire, I promise you, mothers don't give birth to these 4 different personality styles inside the same body. We don't create these. A developer, I should start with designer. Designer, they go to school for graphics arts. Like, they dress nice. Their house is decorated. They have real friends. Right? They're creative. You know, that's a different personality. You guys have met a designer before. It's a different personality. They're creative. You know, it's how it feels. It's the look. A developer, anybody ever known a coder before? Like, the garage is a physical living space in a house. Yes? Okay. Birkenstocks, torn jeans, Heineken, techno. Friday night, Friday night, what you doing? Hanging out with friends. What's his name? Toxic M49. No one there. Right? Headphones, crickets, hanging out with friends. Okay? That's who they are. If you have a designer build your website, it's going to be pretty and have no brain. You have a developer build your website, it's going to be ugly as sin, and it's going to be smart. An engineer. You guys know an engineer. Personality style is a little different. Do they guess? What are they always doing? Researching, studying the data. Hey? They're analyzing information. They don't guess. It's not based on perception or feeling. It's based on data. And they're not going to change their mind. If you try and get a designer on the phone with a developer, they're going to duke it out. Engineer, now you have all-out war. Okay? It's not a bad thing. It's like putting your CPA, your financial planner, and your banker all in the same room. You're your attorney. Let them fight it out. Then you'll get the best decision at the end. Right? They all think they're right. And that's okay, but you need all of them. Same thing with the writer. You guys, I used to stand on stage and I said your industry, it didn't matter what industry you're in. 10 years ago, I would say it doesn't matter what you sell, digital marketing is the same. Not in HVAC. You guys have 2, 3, or 4 entirely separate businesses, different product per season, and heavily impacted by God, meteorologist, in order to figure out your business. You guys, seasons, weather changes, weather patterns. I mean, you have an entirely different business model for X number of seasons depending where you are geographically. And that model, you can't boil it down into HVAC or heating and cooling or our services. You have a separate business model for the middle of summer, separate business model for the middle of winter, and technically a separate business model for spring and fall. Somebody's got to know it inside and out. A content writer has to know to write for your seasons, your products, your buyer personas in your area based on the weather. And they also need to know how to write for Google based on keyword density and compliance requirements in order to get the content found. That's not easy. This doesn't come in one. And I haven't even touched social media. That's a whole nother world. So when somebody comes to your website, you guys have a matter of seconds to showcase a handful of things that are critical. Who you are, what you do, where you do it, how to reach you, what other people think about you, and can they leave feedback? Are you transparent? A matter of seconds. When somebody comes to that site, you can't make them dig, you can't make them look around, can't make them try and hunt for what they need. They don't understand the difference between repair and service. They don't understand the difference between installation and replacement. They use the words randomly and interchanged. Some search for AC, some search for air conditioner, some search for air conditioning, but they don't search for cooling. Okay? Your website needs to work 24/7, needs to be open when you're closed. Doesn't mean that they can schedule appointments to have somebody dispatched out to their house, but they should be able to schedule time to talk to you tomorrow at noon. I go to too many websites and there's exits. I look at too many companies and we got exits all over. If I go to your Google business listing, it says you close at 5. But it's 5:31 and they just got off work. And they just got time to be able to handle their own personal list for their own home. But it says you close at 5. What happens? They're out. That's an exit. They're moving on to the one that's open 24/7. Doesn't mean you need to provide service 24/7. They want to know that they can schedule an appointment with you for tomorrow at noon on their lunch break. Just that easy. What's the difference between getting a phone call or having someone set time with you to talk to you tomorrow at noon, where you call them at noon? We got to make sure these things are open and they're running and they're working 24/7. Make sense? All right. In addition, there's other key elements that are critical to a website. You guys, first one, and we learn as we go. So whatever website I built 2 years ago, I despise it today. And if I built your site today, I'm going to hate it a year and a half from now. Sorry to say, but that's also real. Because we learn constantly. Everything is changing. 2 years ago, we learned one of the biggest reasons why consumers leave negative reviews in your industry. One is don't show up on time or not at all. That's a sure way to do it. And secondly is if you go out, you do a service call, you change a battery in a thermostat or flip a breaker in a garage, send them a bill. It's not in their brain you had to drive out there. It's in your brain that you just charged them $69.99 for flipping a breaker in a garage. So let them come to your site. Troubleshoot issues that are simple fixes they can do themselves. Avoid the call. Don't go out. You don't need to do that. And keep the negative review from hitting your site. Here's how easy this is. I've seen people go to a website, sign up for a service appointment, and 5 minutes later send a message in canceling the service request, saying, hey, I just used your troubleshooter and I realized we didn't have the breaker switch on. I flipped it on. I canceled the appointment. However, I bookmarked your site and I'll be back to use it again. Do you know how hard it is to get an average person to bookmark an HVAC site? It's not cool. you know? That's real. They're bookmarking the sites and coming back to use them. Same thing, specials, offers, promotions, rebates. We have to think about time. We have to think about location. If you're sitting next to a VA hospital, you should have something for veterans. If you're sitting next to a bunch of schools or a university, you should have promotions related to teachers and educators. If you're sitting next to a fire department or you're prone to fires, our California crews, when the fires were going on in Eastern Washington and California last year, we did a bunch of promotions for firefighters and medical crews and so forth. Wound up getting picked up on news releases. Right now, what time of the year is it? It's April. Come on, business owners. It's the month you gotta file your extensions. It's tax time, right? Are there tax credits for high efficiency systems? Right? Depends on where you're located. Do you have rebates that are available? Are there energy rebates that are available in your area? Do you have local promotions? Do you have manufacturer rebates, discounts, and promotions? Those things need to be available as well. SARE calculator. Can somebody come to your site and can they evaluate or calculate the estimates? They're trying to do their research in advance on what is the calculation or how much could they potentially save by having a higher efficiency system. Are there other promotions? Are there other rebates? Are there other discounts? Do you have financing options? Is the installation of a heater or air conditioner an inexpensive purchase for the average consumer? It's a vacation. That money's in their account because they want to go on vacation. They don't want an air conditioning system, right? So we need to make it easy. We need to show them we have options. If they're already nervous about the money that it's going to cost, making sure that somewhere up there it says apply for financing, sign up for maintenance, schedule service, check out promotions. All of those things are going to be important to keep them engaged so they don't keep looking somewhere else. Make sense? Okay. And then, of course, testimonies and reviews. The way this works, it's simple. Without clarity, you cannot focus. Without focus, you cannot execute. And without execution, you can't win. We got to make moves. We have to have complete clarity on what's important. How do your consumers look? Where do they look? How are they going to find you? What ultimately do you want this to look like 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? We have to focus on those high leverage activities that are going to get the best results in the least amount of time. We have to cut the garbage. I had a different word for that, but we'll leave it at that. Okay? And we've got to execute and we've got to do it quickly. We have to make these calls. We have to make them quickly. Your strategy and purpose is going to depend on many different factors. I've seen every scenario. I have consulted with thousands and thousands of different contractors. I've seen companies go in, buy a new company, they work the heck out of the database. They were doing $6 million a year. They forgot about new client acquisition, and all of a sudden they went from $6 million to $1 million in 12 months because they stopped acquiring new business and just tried to work the database until there was no more paper in the file system to work. That's a problem. I've seen companies that are incredible at new client acquisition and horrible at keeping their customers and their leads and their prospects inside any kind of system that's going to allow them to go back on a rainy day, or for you guys on a 70-day wind blowing in the breeze, my windows are down day, and you got trucks in the parking lot you need to get out on service calls. But they don't have a database they can easily send out a quick promotion to and say, hey, we're doing a tune-up special. Or, oh, you guys are getting creative, a system rejuvenation special. Or what's my newest one? So I've heard some really cool new terms that are picking up a little bit of steam here. All right, how are we using the website to hire and recruit, build our staff, make sure we have those resources available quickly? How are we using it to better educate our clients? Educated clients is a lot easier to deal with and takes up less time. How are we using it for building a list so that we've got a database we can go back to in the future during those hard times? Are we building our maintenance programs? Do we have residual income coming in the door? People don't have an issue with residual paying something on a monthly basis if it saves them time. Pest control, water delivery, housekeeping, landscaping, phone service, right? Netflix. If it saves them time, makes their life easier, they don't have an issue. Your business, you need residual income. You really do. I mean, to make any business function during good and bad times, you got to have some kind of money that's coming in to pay those bills, because the bills don't stop because it's spring or fall. Okay? And it's doable. What you don't want to do is you don't want to implement that and get it to where you have to physically mail out 65 invoices for $13.95 on a monthly basis. Okay? It's easy. It's just a little e-commerce switch. It's signed up for a subscription. They put in their credit card, it automatically goes out. You schedule 2 services a year, 1 service a year, however you want to do it. You know, build it in, do something unique. Put new batteries in their smoke detectors, right? Do something that's unique and going to make it different, but get the residual income in the door. Education, existing customers, branding, reducing labor costs. There's tons. The more, you know, let me back up. Last week we were in Northern California. We get to sit in with our clients. We did strategy sessions in-house with a whole bunch of them. And we get to dive into their business and figure out how does it function, how does it work, who's doing what, and really get into how can the technology make their lives easier. So whether it's automating invoicing, allowing consumers to apply for financing online, sign up for maintenance online, request appointments, doing appointment notifications via text message, or having automated appointment reminders so you have less missed appointments. There's tons of things that the technology should help you with. Websites, all this stuff, it's not just marketing. The way that you increase your bottom line is you reduce expenses and increase income. That gives you a net difference. And that's what all of this has to be. Make sense? All right, on the marketing side, 3 priorities: get found, engage, and convert. Pretty much it. You need to be an option when somebody's looking for what it is that you have. We need to have a way to engage with them quickly and make it easy. And you need to convert them to a customer. We can get them to number 1 and number 2. The rest is on you, okay? That's on you. But that's it. That's as simple as this is. So building multiple funnels is going to be the start of that. Not one. Don't rely on one thing. I've had companies that I've begged and pleaded, please, you got to have more things going on than just blank. Had a group of clients that were sitting in Sacramento Bay Area. We had a strategy session with a group of them 2 years ago. We said, you guys really need to have more things going on. Sacramento, if you're on page 1 of Google for AC repair Sacramento, AC installation Sacramento, AC and replacement Sacramento, I mean, that's a nice sized client base. It's not a small city, so you can do a lot. But they were doing that with their Google business listing, not with their website. So you know what the map is, right? And that map was showing up there, and that map is what was converting them. I'll give you an example. This is what happened to them. Let's go to Sacramento. In the last, I think we're probably on 6 months now, Google started a test. Anything you guys notice different about this map than the one you normally see? What is it? Okay, so let's go look at another area. Let's go AC repair. Let's go to West Chicago. Okay, here's this map. Here's this one. What do you notice? And it's pay-per-click. $42 a pop. Every customer that sat in that map and was raking in business like crazy because they focused on reviews solely, in a matter of 24 hours, their phone stopped ringing. Just because they didn't have multiple funnels going on at the same time. So be careful when you guys, so sometimes I'll hear people and they're like, I want to work with someone that's local. They can be local, but make sure they do business nationally or internationally, because Google doesn't test local. Google tests in pockets. Google tests in Toronto. Google tests in Sacramento. Google tests in LA. So these tests that are ran for changes like this, if you don't know they're coming and you get hit by that, that's painful. You need to know what's happening around the nation. The information we glean from clients that are sitting in the Bay Area or sitting in Toronto, that information is shared with everybody on a national basis so they know what's coming and can prepare for it. So they're prepped and ready. So it's very, very important that you keep your eye out. You do business local, but the internet is worldwide and those things changes. Google used to have ads on the right-hand side. Those companies that depended on pay-per-click and were one of the 30 ads that showed up randomly throughout a day, when that went away, that hurt. Okay, same thing right now. Google's biggest algorithm change, anyone knows what it's called right now? Fred. You've heard of Panda or Penguin and so forth. Right now it's Fred, and Fred doesn't like bad content and no content. So those websites are seeing 98% drops in total traffic just because they don't have the right content on their site. It's not quality content. Huh? So you can actually look and you can see Search Engine Land keeps an algorithm update change, and it shows you what changes were done. These are only the majors, but it'll show you exactly how many changes were done that were major changes. Okay, let's see, Moz does one too. So this is 2017. We're only a couple months in. There's been 4 major updates this month. This is 2016. Major changes. And keep going. So you got to stay on top of it. You guys don't have to stay on top of this, but you need to know that your agency is staying on top of it. You got to play by the rules. All right, so multiple funnels, very, very important. You guys have a sheet in front of you. It's, yep, that's it. It's got the little bubbles on it, 12-step bubbles. So this is a 12-step roadmap to achieve accelerated results. Without having a lot of data, this is the best we can do at helping you prioritize what needs to happen in what order. So 1, website and branding. 2, content. 3 is your CRM or contact relationship management system and conversions. Okay. Local listings. Remember when Dad said if they're not in the yellow book, they're not a real business. Okay. Now there's 70 of them. So Google says if your information is not accurate on your ICANN, on your Google business listing, on your local listings, 70 of them, and your website, if it can't match all that up, if it's inaccurate, then it can't authenticate your company, which is a problem. So if you have a domain name hosted in somebody else's account with their information on it and they're in Las Vegas and you're in Toronto, that's a problem. Reviews. Well, local listings is bigger than that. There's 2 primary things you need to be concerned about. 1, making sure your information is updated and accurate on all of them. And 2 is you get reviews on those sites as well as people that try and snag customers off of them. So we have done reports where we've pulled up local listing reports. We've seen your company, your brand, not you specifically, but I'm using you, okay? So eye contact. Your brand, your company, their phone number. And they're happily answering your phone calls all day long. That happens all day. You can't ignore those things. So we monitor them. We make sure there's duplicate suppressions. These companies, they all charge fees, subscription fees. For us, we buy them in bulk and we manage a whole account, all 70 accounts at the same time. Cost you a couple $100 a month. We take care of all of it. Set them up, optimize them, monitor them, send you real-time notifications for reviews, as well as suppress those duplicates as they pop in and people are trying to snag those calls. So there's always an easier way. Reviews. You guys can't go through another season without having a formal process for generating reviews while you're with the customer. And those reviews need to do more than just make us feel good. They need to be used on your website as new content in the cities you get the reviews. It's easy to get you ranked in an area where you have a physical address. It's the outskirts that are more difficult. If you have city pages with new content Going onto those pages on a regular basis, we can get you ranked faster, and I'll show you an example. Blogging and SEO. So search engine optimization is essentially the process of getting your pages on your site from the back of Google to the front of Google, so you're an option. Get found, engage, convert. That simple. Blogging, you got to stay current. So let's say that you met all 5,798 Google requirements. Just kidding. Just kidding. Sort of. Then there's really 3 things Google cares about, and it's the exact same things your clients do. Marketing is pretty easy. Are you relevant? Which means, do you have what I need where I need it? That's your content on your website to Google. Are you current? Which is the frequency of new content being posted on your site. And are you trusted? Do other people love you? That's link building, optimization for SEO, it's social media, it's local listings, it's engagement, it's traffic. That's it. Consumers want the same thing. Do you have what I need where I need it? Are you current? And do other people like you? It's really simple once you break it down. Social media, necessary evil. You got to do it. Too many people use that as a judge of character to see if you guys are transparent, because they believe that's where you go look. If the last time you posted content on a Facebook page was 2014, what does a consumer say? What do they think? You're closed. Not around anymore. But that's not normal to them. You guys have wives. You've seen them on Facebook, right? You're not going to skip a day. Okay? Don't skip a day on Facebook. So naturally, they think something similar regarding a business. All right, pay-per-click, video, landing pages, email marketing, mobile apps. Yes, we should get to all that. Not yet. Not yet. We got to take care of home first. So huge, 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 big change and a huge opportunity for you guys. Okay, massive competitive advantage. It's called a schema for HVAC, which is a new way of coding a website. We literally designed, launched websites, went live with them, and then are rebuilding them. We just had a client call, Absolute Heat and Air, and their website went live yesterday. And he called today, and he was like, I don't know what's happening, but we have the biggest service call day of one day online. And we were like, okay, so yeah, we're just letting you know we're rebuilding your website. And he was like, oh Lord. He was like, all right, do your thing. Because schema coding is giving such a huge competitive advantage to our clients that, we have to. Everybody has to have it, period. So let me show you how this works. Do you guys see what the difference is on that particular page? What was the biggest difference? What do you notice? Let me go back. Segments, okay. That's content. Good eye. What else do you notice? Your reviews. Bling. Lots of bling. All right. So when you go look at a site, I got a site here. This was the first test site we did when we finally hired the resources that know how to do this correct. When you want to look at a website and see what Google indexes, what does Google see? You type in site and then you type in the URL. Don't put any spaces in between it, and it's going to show you. So Google has indexed 455 pages for this client site. You have the webmaster, of course, as always. You also have their homepage. Can't put it on a homepage. But what you'll notice on every single one of these, we now have the ability to take the cumulative list of all of your reviews and to hard code them into a website with the stars showcasing. So those pages, when they showcase on Google, now show up as the only one in that organic search with the stars. The competitive advantage to this is huge. We're now seeing websites that are sitting on page 1 of Google in position 4 and 5 that are converting as if they were number 1 because they're the only one up there with the stars. This is huge. So right now, Google doesn't have rules around it. There's no major rules. Okay, I'll take that. Right now, not everybody knows how to do this. There's very few agencies that do it, but you are starting to see them sprinkle in here and there. You're starting to see the bigger companies start implementing this. Okay, at some point, this will not be a competitive advantage. When everybody has it, it's not going to matter. But right now, game on. Okay, that's my view. And when this is over, something else will come up. We'll have something else that's there. But right now, this is a big deal. Now, what you'll notice on these, every page, remember, content. Every page has a specific phrase in a specific location based on what a consumer would search for. So I don't know what phrases are in these guys in their key phrase plan or their SEO plan, but we'll just go grab a few and go look. Let me see. Not this one. As you go through and you start looking at pages, look at it like this. So when you do a search on Google, there's a number that shows up here on the top. You guys seen Bruce Almighty? The movie? Okay, remember when he was in that warehouse and he said, anything you've ever thought, anything you've ever said is inside this file drawer, right? That's Google. The file drawer blows across the entire warehouse and has 174 pages in it, 174,000 pages in it. In order for you to make money, you need to be in this area of 100, you need to be in the top 5 of 174,000. Not bad. It's doable. Here's what you don't want to do. The awesome page on your website that says services. How many pages are in that drawer? Okay. How about the awesome page that says heating? How's that drawer? Cooling. 348 million. So you get my drift? Those pages don't work. The majority of sites that I go look at, they're like, oh, my website's great, doing great, got a great team. I'm like, oh. Every page on the site technically goes into a junk drawer. A junk drawer. So what you'll notice when you go look at a site, let me grab this one and I'm going to grab residential. So what I did here is I've got 3 sites and I tried to pull ones that were actually live relatively recently. So this is 6 months. Dubias, 3 months. And this site went live yesterday. All right. So when you drill into these pages, you're going to notice that it works like a filing system. So like a grain hanging folder, manila envelope, title on the piece of paper needs to line up. This is air conditioning installation service Minneapolis St. Paul. This is air conditioner installation service Minneapolis St. Paul, air conditioner installation service Minneapolis St. Paul, and surrounding areas. That's when you're going to build it into additional locations. Okay. These phrases are basically the labels that you're giving Google to be able to index or file that content. This page happens to be updated with Google Schema. Does it stand off the page? This is essentially right now capturing more leads and opportunities, even though it's sitting on page 1, position what, 5, 6, just because of the rankings, just because of those reviews. Big opportunity, short window of time to make it happen. You guys have a longer window than most industries because most of the industry is slightly behind. Make sense? Yeah? Okay. So on these sites, same thing. When you drill into specific cities, locations, and so forth, step 1 is the site. Step 2 is making sure that you have 1 page per search phrase or search service and city. So that gets complicated and it gets big, right? If you take AC repair, AC service, AC installation, maintenance, tune-up, and so forth, and then you times it times 20 cities, that's a lot of content and a lot of pages, which is where you can utilize your reviews strategy to generate reviews, which helps with your overall portfolio of do people love you. And in addition to that, we can take these reviews, and every time your client gives a review, we can build a service area page. And that service area page is now optimized for the city first, service second, to go into a different drawer based on location. The new content that goes onto that page, it's driven because it's driven because your technicians and your installers are checking in every time they get to a job site. So they just tap a button and say, here, doing blank, 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 whatever that is. Some of them, my young ones, they're good at taking selfies and doing little videos and stuff. And because you get a review, so now you have your technicians out there driving new content to a new page. We just take, every time we see somebody check in on a new city, or in a new city, or every time we see them add a new review in a new city, then we go build a city page, and then we start doing backlinking to that page, and that's what makes the page move up on Google. Now you have your reviews generating new business. Game on. Yes? You got it? This is easy. This is easy. You don't have to do anything except have a little app on your phone. When you get done, you're showing them how to program the thermostat, and you say, are you happy? And they say yes. If they say no, you're like, here, call this number. It's a hotline. But if they say yes, like, can I get your phone? Can I send you a text message? I got to come home with a review. Our office manager will kill me if I don't come home with a review, or we're having a contest. Or I've had, our guys have said awesome things all over the board. Send them a text message. You're literally right there staring into their soul. So you're more likely to get a review, right? Through their retina down, you show them how to click that, and then leave a little love note. And boom, you've got a new review, new content, new page. You didn't have to pay for any of it, and it's going to help your business grow. Permanent, permanent, permanent. All of these things are permanent long-term investments in your business that are going to last forever. The longer the content's there, the more valuable the page becomes. The more traffic, the more shares, the more likes, the more links, the more important that page becomes. Here's the difference. Traditional advertising, if you stop spending, it's gone. You have nothing out, nothing left. In a digital world, if you focus on things that have permanent, long-term, compounding interest impacts on your business, you're just adding on top of adding on top of adding. You're just continuing to build and build a network so this thing performs for you, so it works for you while you sleep. That make sense? Right on. All right, so I'm short on time, right? Am I about at that time? I could talk for 8 hours straight without even blinking. Okay, you guys have, you know that. It's okay. So, very quickly, temporary versus long-term. We have to start thinking like investors. And investors going to work in my GFL, but investors are going to work in things that are long-term compounding interest impacts on our companies versus churning and burning cash. And I'll tell you, the transition, if you're currently in an environment where you are spending on pay-per-click and you know if you shut it off, your phone stops ringing, but you need to transition to SEO, you got to bite the bullet at some time. At some time, you got to bite the bullet and move to something that's going to be permanent, that it's going to work. Our mindset, when we go into this, needs to sit in three ways, three places. What's working? Do more of it. Not what's working, just sit there and think it's going to keep growing. What's working? Do more of it. What's not working? Stop. Reallocate it to something that is. Just stop. And what are we not doing yet that we should be? Those three, that mindset will keep you progressing forward, always doing better year over year over year, but continuing to do the same thing, always moving, never going anywhere. That's a rocking chair. Anybody can sit in that. Make sense? All right. So you guys have a half sheet of paper in front of you. If you have not filled that out, I recommend that you do. We will run about $500 in different reports for you. Your local listings, your Google or your website, your ranking from a technology standpoint. Where is it? How's it working? We can even do a competitor analysis against whoever you want to be able to beat in your area. In fact, we can strip anything and everything from their entire site and show you exactly what they've done to get there by page. It's not difficult. Okay, so it's easy when you line them up side by side and go, this is where you want to be. This is what they're doing. This is what you're doing. The only thing we can't change is time online. Okay, if they've been online for 30 years and you have a brand new URL, that's a baby in Google's eyes. I can't fix that. But everything else we can make progress towards. So if you fill that out, we will go through and someone on our team will give you a call, probably Beverly or Pat, and they'll set up time to do a SWOT analysis to help you identify what are your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Threats, those are exit doors. We got to get rid of those first, most important. And then from there, we'll help you put together a plan of action. And whether you use us or not, everything on that sheet we definitely do. But if you have an existing agency you want to take it back to and use all that information, highly encourage you to do that as well. So we're here for you if you need help. Is this class helpful? Yes?
Yes.
Good stuff? Does your head hurt? Are you all right? You need to, All right, you guys are fantastic. Fill those out, give them to Mike, and we're around for a bit. Thank you so much. Thanks, appreciate you. Speaking of which, I forgot about this. We're on Facebook Live. Say hi. Bye, you guys. How to do it. Hi, hon. I don't care. I'm a woman.
But we're sitting outside and we're like, do you go in? Is it over or somebody?
Oh, hell yeah. Come in.
I did this years ago. Years ago. My God, it changes every day.
Oh, my God. It hurts my head.
So our poor little website is done on a GoDaddy website builder. I mean, I put a lot of work into it. With the parameters of the free website builder.
Well, the problem is the code. The code is foobar.
So I've tried hard to like put my phone number on every single page and like all that crazy stuff. So we're gonna have to eventually get it.